Hi, everyone. Welcome back to State of the State. I'm your host, Morgan C. Mullings, and I'm so excited for the guest we have here today. It is Reverend Al Sharpton. He's the president and founder of the National Action Network, but everybody here in New York City knows him. Now, National Action Network, I admire them so much. They are one of the most important civil rights organizations to ever be founded in New York City. And so we're going to talk a little bit more about voting rights today. So, how are you, Reverend Al Sharpton? Thanks for coming on the show.
Doing great. Glad to be with you.
Great. So, National Action Network has been a big proponent of voting rights here in the state and nationally. So, I want to know from your perspective where we're at with those initiatives.
I think that we're being challenged by not being able to get the John Lewis voting advancement bill in the Senate passed and the freedom to vote passed and the struggle around gerrymandering in the state of New York. So we're at a pausing point, but we're determined to fight on. We cannot in any way give up the battle for voter protection.
And why is voting rights such a topic of conversation right now? Where specifically are voting rights under attack?
When you look at nationwide, you have 17 states that have already, since the 2020 election, changed what their voting restrictions are. And when you look in the state of New York, we're doing a new map in terms of district, voting districts, election districts, to where some districts are going to be altered, some are going to be changed. So that is why it is pregnant with the opportunity for good or bad right now.
And when you say good or bad, could you just be a little bit more specific about how voting rights can be messed with, especially this year?
Well, it can be bad in the sense that they could come with restrictions that disproportionately hurt Black people, people of color, by asking for certain requirements that we disproportionately don't have. We've seen it with voter ID. We've seen it with cutting back early voting days because we work. We see it with other impediments that disproportionately impact us. And we see it in the state, they can redraw lines that would sacrifice Black and brown representation. If you redraw certain congressional districts or assembly districts where they do not have a representative populace in those districts, it could actually lose Black and brown legislative seats.
Right. So, National Action Network is known for being on the ground in the community. Could you just tell our viewers a little bit more about how you guys are involved in civic engagement or how you will be this year?
We are a on the ground civil rights group, and we not only rally and do marches and weekly forums. We actually sit with legislators from the president of the United States to the governor down, and try to have input and influence on how legislation is pushed and framed. So from being inside where the legislation is framed to creating the public drama outside to try and get the public temperature up to support the legislative efforts. That is what National Action Network does. We were founded in 31 years ago, and we say we're in the spirit of what Martin Luther King and others did in the 60s.
Right. Well, I really wish you all the best of luck in that. And thank you, Reverend Al Sharpton, for coming on the show today.
Well, thank you for inviting me. Thank you very much.
All right, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to State of the State. Tune in next time for another interview.